Hello, hello, hello. I hope that I am live. I am using Streamlabs today, so I don't know if it's gonna work. I hope it's working though. I really hope it's working. Let me go on YouTube, double check. Okay. Let's see, go live. If you're live in the chat, let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I have no idea. Yo, what's up, Dwayne? What's up, Tescoho? I don't know what your real name is, but always good to see ya. Okay, so we're chilling, we're back. Sweet. This series is a series on Claude Code, and I'll be talking about 6 things. We talked about one thing not yesterday, which is using Claude Code as a big, without any bells and whistles, and we're just gonna tackle a project together. But today, we're gonna incorporate something else into it, and I'll explain what it is as well. So you can share my screen here. So as you can see, I have here. We were done with this yesterday, and now today we're gonna be doing this, incorporating rules files to our project to make Claude Code more usable, more configurable. So what are the rules files? Let's just lay down some of the things that we're gonna do today. So I'll explain what rules files are, how effective are they, how I use rules files, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And then we're gonna do a quick feature with Claude Code, plus modify the rules files I have, so that you guys can see it in action in the project that I use rules file for. Okay, great. So let me know in the chat, guys, like how's your week has been, what are you up to, all the good stuff. Don't ask about my week. It's been incredibly I wouldn't say incredibly challenging, but it's been not fun. Like, I gotta say, I don't sleep enough. But yeah, let me know in the chat, like, is the connections good, whether or not, everything is working properly. Okay, and if there's nothing wrong, then we're gonna get started. So let me go to my terminal here, and I'm gonna open up a new terminal, put it back. Testicool says, I want to participate but had a previous engagement before realizing having your live stream on. It's really fun while working. Missed a few of your last videos. It's all good. It's all good. I'm in the spirit of being grateful and all that, so everything is forgiven. I'm just kidding. Like, I'm just glad that you guys are here. I'm not doing this alone. That's all. So first thing we gotta do is we're gonna go to our project. So our project here, what it does is it allows us to create GitHub repositories. And now what I wanted to do is I wanted to also look at a live application and grade that as well. And yesterday we tried to one-shot it with Claude, and we failed to do that because it's too complex. So now what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna do it one step at a time. So let me open up the task here and see what we have to do. Okay, so I'm gonna find that task, which is this one right here. Program can create a web app. So the problem we have is people often, hey Rennis, how's it going? Happy Friday. Nice. I feel like my stream is very delayed. Yeah, so let me see here. Students often deploy applications on a web page. Currently, there's no way for the program to grade that other than the code. Happy that you are live streaming daily. I really liked your early videos from last year, and I'm learning a lot. Awesome, man. Thank you for saying that. I have to learn recently that I have to accept compliments with grace, and I can't just be like, okay, back to whatever I was doing before, or going back to solving problems. I gotta appreciate the little things in life more. Learned that recently. So that's the problem that we're trying to solve here. And we can use browser base, which is a technology that allows us to spin up a headless browser for our agent to use, like a Chrome instance, a Chromium instance. So we're going to use a service called browser base to interact with the deploy application, and then take a look on it and grade it. And yeah, so yesterday we tried to do all these 4 tasks in one shot, which we failed miserably. So first we're going to do this, add browser base and stagehand to your application. And before we do that, we have to npm install, because I did change the dependencies yesterday while we were doing that one big PR, right? And it didn't work, so we got to remove the packages and do it again. So browser base. But yesterday, one good thing that came out of this is that we actually read the documentation from browser base, and we have a better sense of what we need to do. So we need to put in not just browser base to spin up a headless browser, but also a framework to control the browser, which will use stagehands. So we use stagehand to control browser base, essentially. Okay. This is a really cool animation. Go to browser store.cookies, extract, act, execute. That's great. Research agent. Okay. Yeah, this is great. And it works with any LLM, as far as I know. We just need the documentation. Okay, docs. Stagehand allows you to automate browsers with natural language code. We know that. So we can create a stagehand page and then go there. Okay, great. I'm assuming there's a section that talks about how to use this with browser base. Just gotta find that. Quick start, I guess. Quick start. So we have to go through quick start to install this real quick. And this uses browser base project, so I guess this is what we need. Okay, so TypeScript, that's what we're using. npm, copy this, go back here. Oh no, that's not what we want. Not a new project, but I guess I wonder what happens if I create a new project. Is it like a Next.js app or what? To use our context, cookie authentication, cache data across browser session. Nice. Stagehand scripts. Okay. Use the version of the station that's okay. So dependencies and run script. Adding a stagehand to an existing project. There we go. This is a long documentation section just to get to this part. I don't like that. I don't think. npm install. Today I learned that people code doing Wheezy. That's fun. I'm gonna start calling you Wheezy from now. Yeah. Anyways, we got the environment. We already have the environment variables, which is great. So we're gonna create the first script here. Create an index file, index.ts, stagehand constructor params. .env. We have that. Zot v4. We have Zot v4, which is better. Okay, so we got config. We got stagehand, constructor, and then we have all these things. But the point today is not to talk about all this stuff yet. The point today is to talk about rules file, right? In case you guys forgot. So Mary's here. What's up, Mary? So rules, Claude Code, Claude.md. So Claude Code goes like this. Claude Code goes like this, and most CLI agents as well. It goes like this. Let me show you. I'm gonna create a new fig jam here. Shout out to my sister for putting me on this. We got Claude Code. Everything comes back to context engineering, by the way. So this is Claude agent. It's context, right? We got in here the system prompt. And in order to modify a system prompt, you can use something like output styles, which they've launched recently, to directly modify the system prompt and make Claude Code does more than just code. We have system prompt, we have, tools, we have, let's say, messages from the user, right? And we have rules, Claude.md rules. And the order actually goes like this. So first it has to read the system prompt, then Claude.md files get added to the context. And then we got, technically it's supposed to be like this, I'd say. So system prompt, tools, Claude.md file rules, and then messages from the user, and then whatever, terminal outputs and stuff like that. And this all exists in the Claude Code agents context window. Which means that, let's say you don't want to modify the system prompt because Anthropic has created a really good system prompt for us to have a very performant agent. When I say performant, I mean you take the same model, Claude Sonnet 4, you use it in Cursor agent, use it in Claude Code. Claude Code usually comes out better. That comes down to the prompt that the team at Anthropic had created. And this is not open source, by the way. People have tried to kind of like extract it or like prompt inject it to get it out, but there's never been like a real version of this outside, and it's very long, by the way, even for the versions that people were able to steal. And then it comes down to tools. So these tools are like read files, write to files, to-do list creation, etc. And then it comes down to this thing where we can actually modify very easily called Claude.md files. What this does is it adds more rules on top of these things. So we got system prompt, tells it to do certain things. And then we got this right here, which tells it to do more of certain things or on top of those things. And from this thing here, you can add rules files in each directory of your code base. So it doesn't have to be at the root directory. It can be in any directory you want, and they will override each other. So with that being said, I'm just going to show you what mine looks like for a homework grader, right? Because what's the point in talking about these things without a real example? Mary's here, so she knows that my computer is about to die because it's like 16 gigabytes of RAM. Everything is like hanging on a thread. There's like 200 megabytes of RAM left to do anything. If I click on like Zoom right now, everything will crash. So I hold on, click on Zoom. But let me show you this. So here's our project, right? You can see it here. Here's our first Claude.md file. And by the way, when you want to use Claude, you can always call Claude like this, and then you can say init. That's when it's going to generate the first Claude.md file. However, from my current use and my personal experience, you should not do this if you're a developer. Not do this at this stage. What you want to do is you want to first create your project. So let me just create another one here. You want to create your project. This is like steps to create Claude.md. So first, let me just write down the conventional ways to do that first, right? Why? Because I'm trying to drag this to be longer. No, but sometimes I have to slow down. So, there are certain steps I take for granted, and I need to talk about them so people can follow along. So the conventional way is you start Claude, start new project, you do this, and then you go down here, and then what you do is you /init in Claude Code to create Claude.md. That's what you would normally do. That's what YouTubers would do in front of you on their stream. But what we realize over time is that this is not super useful down the line. This is the conventional way, and I'm gonna find a way to put this text here. Yep, much better. I love it when I could figure out how to diagram properly. So, conventional way, init right away. But the way that I want you guys to do is, I want you guys to do it like this. Think about what stack your project should be in. So do this. And then I'm going to move this arrow up here. And then I'm going to call this Highway. I don't have a trademark over this, so feel free to steal it. So what's going to happen is we're also going to do this down here. All the way down here. And we're going to do this first. Not directly here first, but to here. And I wonder if I can create another box here. And then move it down here. Connect the arrow here. And then resize it. And here, what I say here is I'm going to say, create the bare bone project yourself. You have to do this. If you don't do this, you're letting AI dictate what the best practices should be. And only speaking to developers, by the way. You're letting your AI dictate like what the best practices should be based on God knows when the pre-trained knowledge was. And you as a developer should be opinionated about like how you should structure your project. If you don't care about this, you can probably like go this way and just create, Claude.md right away. And then in here, it'll ask you like what kind of project this is, which then you don't have an answer to, right? So that's the problem. The problem is not to start Claude Code and then start init right away. The way to do it is you think a little bit, you create the project. So if it's Next.js, it would be like create next app, and then you set the configurations yourself. And then you run init, and then you create Claude.md file, the rule file. The reason for that is because when Claude's creating this file, it's looking through the code base, it's reading through the files, and it's creating a rules file that fits your project personally. And if you have nothing in the code base, then it's really hard for it to come up with rules, because how can you generate rules out of nothing? So I highly recommend, no pun intended, I recommend High's way of doing things. Yeah, so let me give this a +1 here. Get myself a sticker. Yeah, so that's how I usually start my projects. And then we'll get into like what goes inside of these rules files. And before we do that, let me just pull up this thing right here. And we're going to do our first kind of like feature. And if you're joining late, the feature that we're trying to do is we're trying to add browser beige and stagehand to the application. We tried to do like a full feature yesterday, one shot it with Claude Code, and we failed miserably because one of the main philosophy of you doing coding with AI is that you have to like update the rules as you go. You always have to be constantly aware of like where it's falling short, and you can add rules to it. And Claude.md file is the place to add those rules. So I hope that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the chat. I will be happy to answer them. Yeah. And I'm using, in case you're wondering what software I'm using Streamlabs, and it's free. It's great. Shout out to people who built Streamlabs. Amazing. Like, look at me go, you know what I mean? it works with my Stream Deck as well. But going back to this feature right here, all I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to add stagehand to this. So our feature requires us to add browser base and stagehand because we need both the browser, headless browser, and a framework for the agent to control the browser, and that comes with stagehand. And we found a really good example of it right here when it works directly with a browser-based project. So yeah, what I normally do though is I would give this link to Claude, and I'll make it plain. So, and I'll go into like modifying my rules files real quick and show you guys my rules file as we're building this together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I have like things flying in my apartment. They're very annoying. This happens sometimes. Okay. Somebody says that the screen was not showing. Yeah. Now we're back. Okay, so turn on plan mode always, and then we're just gonna say we want to add stagehand to our CLI application without changing the CLI flow in any major way. Add a test feature to allow us to test stagehand and browser base based on the documentation link I sent here. Do not packages are already installed and no need to install anything new. And I'll get into a second whether or not we should add this to our rules file as well. Rules files should be created based on your habit of coding as well. So like when you add like a documentation or set of instructions to your coding agent, have you done the prerequisite steps? If you are somebody like me who usually just install the packages before you start using them, then you should add a rule to not let the AI do that again. Otherwise, it will mess up. And if you are somebody like that, then you shouldn't add that rule. So that's why rules files are very personal. And if you're working in a team, then your team's rules file should be rules that everyone agrees with, and your personal rules should be things that you keep in your personal profile, which you can do through Claude Code. So there are two types of rules files, as far as we talked about, right? So there are two types. So we got here. I'm just gonna make a diamond here. And guys, let me know in the chat if you want me to be like super energetic or be like Bob Ross. Why am I Bob Ross today? Because I'm sad, but I don't also like to watch videos when people like don't have too much energy. It kind of scares me a little bit. Is the project team based? And if it is, then we create our personal rule file. Personal rules goes into personal rules file. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Like I'm just grateful that you guys are here on a Friday, on a beautiful Friday. Chill high for the win. All right. I'll try to be cool then. Could connect this arrow here. There we go. So if it's not team rules, rules that everyone agrees on in your team goes inside the project. What I mean by that is, if let's say you're coding this project with multiple people, whatever rules that you all agree on, you should put it in your project. And then other types of rules, you put it in your personal folder. And to show you where the personal rules files are, I can show you this, the documentation for that. So it'll be Claude.md here. Yeah, so as you can see, I just show you, this is project level, right? And this is personal level. It is in this folder right here. Yeah. Yeah, so if you just ask Claude, it'll be able to tell you what to do. And to test that, I'm just gonna say, actually, yeah, not at that root directory, but we'll go back to this. And then as we're building this, we're gonna modify our rules file. So create a step before, let me run the CLI first. I don't remember what it does. Development, homework grader, and then PM start. And then we go in here, we choose a model, and then now we choose a data source. What I could do is I could add a step right before that, or right after that. We choose the Notion database, we connect to it, and then we can say like, now add a step where I can trigger step right after we choose Notion DB connection, and if it's successful, have a selection that we can choose to go test our stagehand / browser base test. We have test mode on and plan mode on. I'm gonna paste the documentation here, and then I need to install browser base as far as I remember. So we're gonna go to browser base docs, do this, create a browser session, getting started. Where is that? Getting started. Here we go. This is not code, so I need to go to stagehand perhaps. Okay, so we have to install this essentially. Oh, we only need to install stagehand. Interesting. Because when we create an instance of stagehand, we can pass in browser base API key and all that, and the environment should be browser base. Okay, okay. Now I have a better understanding of what is happening. So yesterday we also made the mistake of trying to wrap our heads around browser base separate from stagehand, but apparently stagehand works directly with browser base out of the box, which is quite nice. If you have questions, let me know in the chat. I'll be happy to answer anything. And while this is running, I'm going to show you my rules file. So hopefully you guys can see my rules file here. So in the beginning, this rules file was generated by Claude Code, as we know. But I did think about what I wanted to build, what project I should be building, what stack. So I chose a TypeScript kind of Node.js project. And what's going on in Vira? Shout out to Vira from Miami. He's actually Italian, but he lives in Miami. Yeah. Anyways, what was I talking about? Yeah, so we think about what stack we want to build in, and then we create a bare bone project first. And then it's even better if you add your own features first before you create Claude Code.md in there. Because then what's happened is, as soon as you create your Claude.md file, it tries to understand existing code to create rules. If you have no existing code, then the rules are going to be very vague or even wrong. And then, the key to writing these rules is that your own rules stay in your own lane, and the rules that stays with the project and the team goes inside the project. That's how it works. So in my rules file, I just have very clear sentences. Like this is literally just text, like a README file, telling a person or an AI what this is about. And if you read this as a person and you can understand what the project is about, then AI should be able to understand what it's about. Like this is literally just a README file, right? That's the fun thing about writing for AI, is that if you write well for AI, you can write write for people. Yeah, I feel like everybody in the chat knows each other, which is kind of funny. Yeah, so going back to our Claude, we have a plan now. So like to demonstrate modifying the rules file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually ask Claude to modify its own rules, because there's a thing that is actually real, that is you sometimes you want AI to write prompts instead of you yourself writing prompts. When we look at the leaked systems instructions that people found through Claude Code, we can see there are certain lines about how specific things to keep in mind when writing a Claude.md file. And because these are tips and tricks that came from Anthropic, the team themselves, and I don't know those tips and tricks, I don't want to be writing my own Claude.md files by hand, but instead I do that through Claude Code. I just tell it what the rules are and then let it write it into the file for me using the way that it wants to write these rules. I hope that makes sense, because I could just go in here and create a new whatever and just type it in, but I don't know the best practices, if that makes sense. If I write it through Claude Code, it has the system message, a system instruction that has, rules to write Claude.md files. That's why even if it's a one-liner, I still use AI to write it, because it writes it better than me every time. So hope that makes sense for you guys. So in here, what I'll do is I'll say modify our root Claude.md file instructions. So the agent knows, the agent being like itself, not to install dependencies or packages when it's reading a documentation website, and those are mentioned, because the user usually had already installed those. And this is very much like a personal thing, right? Like going back to the conversation about like earlier about personal rules versus team rules. When you're installing a packages or not during development time, like what stage, is a very personal thing. At the end of the day, the team only sees it whether or not the package is in the code base. But this order of task is something that I follow personally. So if I were to not work on this with everyone else, I can just bake that into the project rule. If I were to work on this with everybody else, John on the other side of the table might not want that. He might just be like, I want AI to do everything for me, so don't put that line in. So again, going back to the personal team thing. Personal team separation. So, but in this case, I work on this by myself, so I just bake into the project. So I add that, so I never have to mention that ever again in my prompt. Okay, so this is a plan to add stagehand browser base. Create a stagehand service, initialize stagehand with browser base configuration, implement test methods. Okay. Usually I want to make sure that, this does not change the existing features, flows, and etc. And like this is like a very anecdotal thing, but sometimes when something I'm asking Claude is really large, instead of looking at the plan, I know the plan looks great, but then I would just ask it to be like, are you absolutely sure that nothing else is going to change if we implement this? And if there is anything else change, we need to account for that. And sometimes it picks up more stuff, that it builds a more detailed plan so that it doesn't like create a new feature and then affect any other features in a wrong way. Yeah. So, okay, so we have to press T to test. Okay, let's just go for it. Yeah, so we got the packages installed. which looks great. Looks good. Okay. And then the nice things about Claude Code is that you can have multiple windows running at the same time. So I could have written this rule like this, right? But I told Claude to write the rule for itself, and it wrote it like this. Do not install dependencies packages when reading documentation on websites and tutorials. And it's bullet points, it's clear, it's great. That's why even if I need to modify a single line of rules, I would just tell Claude Code to do it. Yeah. So that's that. And we go back here. Yeah, I'll be happy to answer questions in the chat, guys, if you guys have any questions. Oh. I miss where do you put the documentation? You just put it in the chat. So Claude Code has tools, right? Access to tools. And how do you know which tools are available? You can always actually ask it. Actually, I think you go to hooks. You can pretend to create a new hook, and then you can see like what tools is available. So we got task, bash, glob, grep, web fetch, web search. So if you drop a URL in, it knows to run web fetch. If you just be like search the web, it'll run web search. Those things are different. Web fetch is kind of like web scraping, essentially. Also saw from yesterday's event at AI Tinkers, they sprinkle comments for Claude Code inside the code base. You could do that. So there's a trade-off to that, right? Like if you as a human reading those things, you might be annoyed. But it could be useful for AI. The thing about comments pre-AI era is that if you write comments, you need to keep them up to date. That's why people don't write comments. But if it's AI generated code, usually AI is very diligent about updating comments. So if it updates a function, it usually could also update the comments. Humans, on the other hand, if they update the code somewhere, they won't usually update the comments because they don't read them. So yeah, leaving comments is probably a good, approach to developing with AI. The only thing is that when you see a lot of comments on somebody's code base, you know it's generated by AI. And if you have no problem with that, that's fine. Oh, did we not install this? Okay, I thought I did, but maybe I didn't. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to install that. Yeah, so pm install. I thought I did. Like I saw it in my package.json. Browser base stage hand. Yeah, there you go. It's right here. So I'm not sure why that's the issue. pm list. Yeah, we have it. Oh, what did it say? Browser base HQ. Oh, so we have a little bit of a hallucination here. I also saw from yesterday's event AI Tinkers, they sprinkle comments to Claude Code, not in the project.md file, like framework documentation you are using for your project. You could do that. So like rules files are supposed to be for you to work more productively. I personally drop URLs to documentations in my Claude.md file. I don't know if this one has it, but let me just double check. So Claude.md, don't know if I put like URLs in here, but usually I don't quote documentation segments in my rules files. What I do instead is I drop URLs to frequently visited documentation sites or to documentation to packages that had updated recently that maybe the pre-trained model did not pick up on. So maybe for this one, Claude Code on the cloud, it's just a separate project. Maybe I have that in my Claude.md. Let me just double check. Not this one, but there's a production ready repo here that I have. So this one for sure. Let's see. Especially in like the AI folder, I believe. So here, for example, AI SDK from Vercel just updated from 4 to 5. So like there's a huge amount of, it's a lot of migration happening. And most models are still hung up on version 4 when you ask it anything. So I just put like a whole bunch of links to like things that I usually use from these documentation sites. And a lot of times when I'm running in this code base, Claude Code would, before making any changes, fetch the page first and then read the documentation and then write code for me, which makes it much easier for me to be able to just, you know, not have to go back and change my code because it's written everything in the old version. Because every time before it writes a new piece of code, it reads the doc first and then write it. And that's the curse of LLMs being stateless, right? It doesn't remember anything. So every time we clear the session, it has to read the documentation again, which could be costly. So yeah. So I think this is done. It fixed the problem. I want to see if it runs pm start and then be able to get everything running without any like command line interface errors. Okay. Let's see if I can just run it. pm start. Okay. And then we can choose a model, Notion database, connecting. Okay. And then we can press T to test stagehand browser-based integration. So let's see. Boom. Select a test to run, navigation test, action test, all tests. Okay. Now our agent, yeah, Mary's gonna leave at the best part. Goodbye, Mary. Navigation test. Let's try this one. Okay. Oh, okay. So now it's created a browser-based session, and then okay. I wonder if it's gonna pipe out the actions that it did. Connect URL. Okay. Navigation test. Data doc stagehand dev. How do I know if this test was correct? Let me just double check here. So I can go to browser base. Oh no, I clicked the wrong button, but we got in anyways. Production project. One session. There we go. We were able to create a one session on browser base. Yeah. Did we kill it? I wonder if we killed it. Completed. Okay. So I guess the sandbox has been shut down. Oh, look. Look. This is our agent. Our agent was able to go to this website. And browser base is so cool because we can watch it. Okay. Yeah, so the test was to just navigate to stagehand.dev, right? This is cool. We should run the other test. Press B to run another test. Okay. Action test. Let's see. I mean, I could go on here and test it, honestly. Refresh. Let's see if there's more. Okay, it's running. Okay, it's live. Okay, is it gonna click on anything? Can't tell. Oh! It's doing something. What the fuck did it do? I actually don't remember what it did. But did it do anything? Hold on. Huh. It was live and then okay, there was an act. Okay. So we navigate to docs.stagehand and then we click on the quick start link. I didn't even see it happen. Maybe it ended right when it clicked on it. Yeah, I didn't see it. So action link with text quick start. Success true, but we didn't wait long enough to be able to see that. So maybe we need to add to our tests, kind of like, seems like it works, but this browser session is not long enough for us to be able to view the result of an action, of an agent action. Don't kill the session right away. Leave about 20 seconds. Maybe 10 seconds. 15 seconds. And the website should be what's an interesting website nowadays to go to? Oh, what's a better way to shield this? I'm teaching this coding bootcamp. Oh, this agent lab bootcamp on Maven with Mary, and I want to test this. So like I teach this stuff like for money, essentially. But this stream is separate. Like sometimes I will mention it, but the stream is just me vibing with y'all. But this bootcamp is coming up on September 14th. And it ends October 31st. You work with me directly, essentially, and with a bunch of other people who are very talented, like Dwayne. And by the end, you're guaranteed to have built something substantial. And you also understand what you build as well, which is something that not a lot of people can help you with. But yeah, we do a lot, and I stream literally every day, every single day, answering questions. Yeah, so we're going to use this website for our test. Okay, so we're going to put on plan mode first, so it's the read only. Yeah, so going back to the rules file, I could just add, this is not the project guide, by the way. I could just add another rule for, stagehand, essentially. Not this repo, but this one. So in my source code here, in my source folder, I have my lib folder, stagehand folder, right? I can add a Claude.md in the stagehand folder, and what it does is it appends to whatever rules that I declare at the root folder in the context window of the agent. Hope that makes sense. If you have a question, let me know in the chat. Okay, so this should be super easy. Yeah, it should be easy. So I'm gonna accept edit. I want to say actually keep that URL, but make it a constant and store that constant where we usually store constants. So no magic value, no magic URL or numbers in our code base. That's just one of the practices that you should have. But yeah, I mean, what is this? Sometimes I get a text and I'm like, I forgot what I was doing, but I know why I'm here, and I'm gonna keep going. All right, we got the plan here, and we added this recommendation, right? And then we're just gonna click on auto accept edits. I need to put my phone away. I need to stop checking my phone altogether. Now I just forgot what I was gonna say. But I promise you, I remember what I have to do now. So we go back to here. We go back to there's another Claude Code, I think. Maybe this one. Yeah. So we go back to Claude here. What we're talking about is we were talking about adding stagehands documentation, right? So we want to tell Claude to be like, hey, create a new Claude.md file in the what is it called? Stagehand folder directory, and put stagehand documentation links in there with the description of when to use them. What happens is, if Claude was to write code in this directory or use code from that directory, it will have to read that Claude.md file. Although I'm actually not sure how the mechanism works. So when we put Claude.md files inside subfolders, when does Claude Code read those Claude.md files? Is it when the written code touches parts of that folder, or is it when Claude or when I actually don't know when. My assumption is that when it uses code that traces back to that folder, but I could be wrong. Short answer: Claude Code discovers and reads Claude.md files lazily and contextually. It doesn't scan and load every Claude.md at project open, which should be fine. We understand this. Instead, it evaluates relevant Claude.md files when the IDE action or model request touches code, files, or paths that fall under those folders, or when those files are explicitly referenced. Practical behavior to expect: it reads the root level Claude.md first for global guidance, always, then augments with deeper Claude.md files as activity navigates into matching subtrees. So if we were to pull in a function from a folder that is our stagehands folder, there's a high chance that that Claude.md file in here is going to be read. So I think my understanding is correct. I hope you guys are still with me. I like to go on tangents sometimes, but yeah. Okay, sweet. All right. I don't know who was watching this. If you're not watching this for AI stuff or Claude stuff, I don't know if you should be watching it. It's probably not good for you. Yeah. Anyways, going back to the lesson here. So we are going to create a new Claude file. Yeah. And then we have to drop the documentation links in here. So I'm going to pull the documentation site. So this one is great. It's always great to have this one. And then we're probably going to do some stuff like this. So whenever I say like, hey, create an action to do something on a page, it should have the URL to documentation already to be able to get the knowledge to do that, instead of me having to go on here and find all these things, right? So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna grab this. This is probably gonna be very useful. A stagehand MCP. Nice. Stagehand in Next.js. We can this is crazy. We can actually show people what's happening in the browser. That's actually crazy. Like we can let our user watch this, whatever this is. So that's pretty sick. Let's see. Paste. No, I already done that. So I don't really need this because it's not a Next.js project. It's not a lot in here either, which is great. Agent configuration. Okay, for an agent, wonder if I can. Oh yeah, I need this. Why is it just Anthropic and OpenAI? What about? You can use any LLM. Okay, so why is it just provided OpenAI here? That's quite strange. Agent options. Wonder if there's anything here. Agent type. What? What do you mean there's only 2 types? I could be wrong though. But we can try setting this up with like in Gemini or something. Let's see what happens. But yeah, that's our Claude.md update. That's our app. And then this had run already, which is great. Okay, great. I forgot what I was doing here. Create a Claude.md file. Okay. Sounds good. I think it done it. Okay, so we have to restart this. This is the last thing we're doing, and then I'm gonna go probably take care of myself, because self-care is the theme of this week, and I have to do it. Not that I don't want to do it, but I have to think long term. My business partner told me this recently. Like, you can't just be sprinting at everything. You gotta be like, you gotta think long term, because that's what alpha is. There's a lot of alpha that could be found in thinking long term, because my default mode is to just go really fast and move fast and break things, which is great because you learn stuff really fast, but going long term is cool. So we're gonna press T. Dwayne, you can't be gassing me up like that, bro. I know we're buddies, but gotta bring me down to earth sometime, brother. Just kidding. Thanks for the shout, bro. Keep the chat going, bro. Okay. Action test extraction. Let's try extraction. Let's see what happens. I want to try this, and also I have the browser-based dashboard on this side as well, so I can be like stacking dopamine, like Dr. Huberman says. First thing you want to do in the morning is you want to stack dopamine. No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to sit and eat and watch your iPad. that's called stacking dopamine. It's not good for you. But I'm going to press enter here, and then session created. I just want to see, okay, session running. So we watch that live. Okay, so it went to the website, and then what is it going to do? Extract data out, right? Come on, baby. Come on. No, it failed. What happened? Extract. The browser is still running though. 1 second, and then 0 second. Ooh, very cool though. Okay, so it tried to extract something, and it failed. Extract the main heading and description of the page, and it failed. I don't know why. This is quite crazy because this is not like a video stream of the browser. Like, you guys have to understand it. This is not a video stream of the browser. This is actually a reconstruction of the DOM, which means that you're gonna get all these components. These are, I don't know if you guys remember when we watched the last session, the browser-based session, not this video session, but this is like an actual rendered page right here. Like, these are clickable things. Like, if I go back here and we watch this, you'll see what I mean. Like, you see how even this session, maybe this session is paused, right? You see how like everything is paused right now, but like the GIF is still playing, which means this is a reconstruction of the entire website. Isn't that fucking crazy? And I'm sure like Post Hog does something similar too. I'm sure. Like, it's streaming out. It's instead of streaming the screen, this is actually quite smart. I never thought about it like this, but instead of streaming out the screen that shows the browser, it streams out the HTML and the DOM tree so that it can be reconstructed in an element inside an iframe. You can watch it, and it looks super sharp. I always wonder, like, what is this, like 4K? Why is it so sharp? It's actually a reconstruction of the entire website. That's why it's so sharp. Yeah, I'm just like, I think this could be a symptom of ADHD perhaps. But I'm like can't get over this. Like, you pause this, this is not a recording, and the GIF is a real GIF. Like, whatever. We gotta fix this though. When I say we gotta fix this, I mean like I gotta pass it into browser base. I mean to Claude Code. Oh, okay. What is all this? Is this a reasoning token or something? Okay, so we have action tests. We have let's see. Oh, it's an error. Error parsing event data stagehand server error. Okay. I wonder why that happened. It could be a stagehand thing, but let me go back and then test something easy like navigation test. We already know navigation works actually, because it was able to go to the website. So not a great test, to be honest. Yeah. Not a great test because it's easy, but for the extraction test, it failed. So, but it failed gracefully, so that's good. Let's see where that is. Okay, let's copy this to here. There's a bug with extraction test. Everything else is fine. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the chat. I'm always on the chat, you know. Because I'm lonely. I need to talk to somebody. Talk to me on the chat. Who's watching right now? I can't tell who's watching right now, but I can tell how many people are watching. There's still 5 people watching. That's good for y'all. Maybe you're playing me in the background, which I'm fine with, to be honest. Okay, so it's investigating. The issue identified. Extraction test failing with the error. Okay, passing just a string to extract method. Stagehand might be expecting schema-based format internally. So we can find the extraction task on stagehand documentation and just give it the real document. Okay, so here's the doc for stagehand extract. A lot of times it doesn't know the shape of an argument or like an output structure, so it'll just mix stuff up. They update this? How would they do it like this? It's like glowing. I need to be able to do that. Okay. Add this URL also for stagehand extraction tasks. So we ask our Claude.md updater to do that as well. Add the docs in. Okay. And it read the documentation. Yep. So now we're good to go. One step at a time, right? One day at a time. Gotta take it one day at a time. To be honest, guys, I've never felt more alive and grateful for everything in my life right now, actually. I think everything happens for a reason. And I'm more connected with my friends than ever. I'm more connected in my community than ever. And I love what I do. I show up. I think about how I can show up fully present for you guys. I'm not thinking about other things. And we got this fucking error. Well, before I would be so pissed about this, but now I'm like, well, let's work through it one thing at a time. Let's see. There seems to be a typability. Oh no! Oh no! Is this where Zot 3 and Zot 4 is gonna fight? I hope not. I think the problem is a lot of this documentation is written in Zot 3. And then if your code base uses Zot 4, maybe some of the syntax is different. Let me just see. What? Come on. My computer's struggling so hard. I gotta close things. What are the main differences between Zot 3 and Zot 4? Zot 4 is a major redesign focused on performance, cleaner error APIs. Okay. Record schema. Yeah, I want to read all this honestly. Zot is not my bread and butter. Is it important? Yes. It's not why I wake up in the morning. Okay, it should be good now. Let's start this again. I think we'll get to, we at least we got this feature done, right? We were able to add browser-based, stagehand, all that jazz. Okay, let's do it one more time. Guys, start betting in the chat. I'm taking bets. I'm not taking bets. Please don't take this video down, YouTube. This is not a gambling stream. Okay, I'm going back to session here. Okay, we got this. I wonder if this is like pinging constantly, or is this like just static? Curious. It's not pinging, so I guess. Oh, it is pinging. Okay, sweet. I want to see if I need to refresh the page. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, extraction test. Let's go. Okay, we got the session running. Is it gonna show the session here? No, it's not. It's not. Oh, it fell again? What the hell? That's not good. Okay. That's not good at all. It's still failing. What is the error though? Now I'm kind of pissed. Same error? What? Gonna copy this over. To my other Claude Code. Paste. Plan mode, and then I'm gonna try and debug this myself. Sonic key, schema, def shape. I wonder if there's any like lint error here that I can catch. Extract, so an extraction test. Okay, schema. Okay. So I guess we had to downgrade to Zot 3 to be able to do extraction, I suppose. Yeah, it's probably Zot 3. Zot 3! Update your code, browser base. What is this? Zot to JSON schema. I'd say so. I want to ask Perplexity for like the main changes that happen for this, if available. Any changes to this, and then we can see if that pops up. Okay. Are we using this? Or are we using two JSON schema here? I guess that's in the distribution code from stagehand, so I can't do nothing about it. We don't need extraction though. And if we do extraction, we can tell it like in like a string. So we could just do string if that's available. Read the docs again. If not, we skip extraction test, make the other test, do a few more actions, make it more comprehensive. Yeah. And stagehand is open source, so if any of you guys want to fix their Zod problem, you can open up a PR and fix their Zod problem. Oh yeah. I always end up streaming longer than I should. If you guys have questions, let me know in the chat, honestly. Be happy to answer. But this morning I was looking at pianos. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool if a year from now, like 2026, August, maybe September, I can pull up, but maybe I'm just flying somewhere, I can go to an airport, I'm bored, jet lag, I could sit at the piano and I can start playing some tunes. I keep saying I'm gonna play some tunes, and I'm like laughing to myself. Here's Claude plan. Yes, execute. And then we'll just commit this because this is good enough. There are certain things that are outside of our control, right? And as you can tell today, we were modifying our Claude.md file back and forth. We create a subdirectory Claude.md file as well. And we add documentation to the Claude.md file, which alongside styling guidelines and all that stuff I think is super valuable. Yeah, so I'm gonna pull up to I'll aim to win the performative mail of the year award, where I would just pull up to a public venue with a book on my hand, perhaps Atomic Habits, and start playing the piano and see what happens. Okay, believe we're done with this, so I'm just gonna restart this. Start this again. Okay, this should be it. This should be the end of the stream, if this works. If it doesn't, my ADHD will go crazy, but I have to let it go. Okay, enhanced navigation test. Y'all ready for this? Gotta zoom out real quick. This is the final test. We're gonna go back to session here. Start this. Boom, let's go. Okay, session created. I just want to see it click around, move around a little bit. That's all. Don't stay static. Oh yeah, it moved. Yeah, it's great. And let page scroll to middle, return to top. It did do it. Close browser. And then B, and then enhance action test. I like that. Let me go back to session real quick. Press B, enhance action test. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, stagehand. Come on. Okay. So it's running. And should be clicking stuff, hopefully. Ooh. Ooh, okay. It clicked on browse. Alright. Y'all see this, right? Yeah, the problem with... Ooh, scrolling down. Let's go. I'm not doing anything, by the way. The problem with these kinds of LLM-driven action on computers or browser is that... What the hell is it doing right now? Hover. is that it's taking quite a long time between each action to do certain things. So maybe something like Cerebras, which I have access since yesterday, can help, where it's like instantaneous, just like bam, almost like a person. Yeah, yeah. So it's, as you can see, it's generating a whole bunch of stuff. I wonder if you're just using like OpenAI or something. Yeah, we can close the browser. So click on call to action button, which it failed to, I think, because it didn't click on enroll. It clicked on something else. It clicked on browse. Scroll to view more content. Interact with navigation. Oh, actually, maybe it did. Hold on. Hover any navigation. Okay, so that failed. Click on the first visible button or call to action. I think it clicked on like some weird button. It did not click on enroll. Like I guess agents don't see things the same way as we do. There are like settings in here that we can set so that it takes screenshots and save those things as well. But this is a start. I love this. Add a test browser base plus stagehand. I love this. I want to commit this and actually stagehand service. I want to see what model it uses. Because if it's OpenAI, then my goodness, it's gotta be responsive on me. OpenAI? No. OpenAI. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't know what models it's using. I should though. Anyways, that's the stream. The point today is to talk about incorporating rules the right way, rules file the right way. So we got this done. Yeah. And we did everything here too. So tune in tomorrow again, 1 p.m. EST. I'm always here. I literally have nothing else to do in my life. I tell people I'm unemployed. That's why I can pull up at 1 p.m. and just be yapping like this. And then go to the gym right after and then like eat. Yeah, that's what unemployed. That's what your unemployed friends do. But without further ado, I will let you go. If you want to hang out for longer, you can join my Discord if you want to. If you're not on the Discord, join the Discord. Whoever's still here, let me send you the link. Don't leave yet. Don't leave me. Don't leave me with my own thoughts. I can't stand it. But here you go. Discord 1 and Discord 2. I recommend you join both.